situation opened up everyone's eyes to, we gotta have a plan.
Leon and Elise bring a level of expertise to the community where they also value partnership.
At juvenile court, we are proud to be a part of this. It helps us to get out into the community, helps us to show a different face and let people know what we do.
There's no doubt in my mind that the collaboration between ESD 101 and the Level 2 Threat Assessment team has done a great job at being able to provide and build up the public safety for this area.
We didn't have these teams 10 years ago.
They feel like the school's doing something to protect their child.
Being able to say to a family, we have a research-based process and we have outside experts who are supporting us to ensure that our school's safe.
Columbine was the most public school shooting, but school shootings have been part of, and school violence, it's been part of our country since the 1700s. And so Columbine was the most public, and it's the one that most people can relate to because it was the first reality live TV show in a regard because people were watching the events unfold. I was in the cafeteria meeting with a student. They were able to locate where all of us were and all that, but my life was saved by a teacher and a janitor.
Okay, hey, I'm Leon Covington, Threat Assessment Coordinator, ESD 101.
And I'm Elise Minotti, the other Threat Assessment Coordinator for ESD 101.
ESD 101 provides educational services and support to 59 school districts in 7 counties here in Eastern Washington to make sure that every student, regardless of where you are, have the same educational opportunities.
Our goal is to make sure that every school building in our region has a level 1 team. And we recommend that that level 1 team consists of at least 4 or more people.
No one in threat assessment wears a hero cape, right? We all come to the table as partners. No better place where that's more evident than our community teams. City and county law enforcement on those teams. Our public county mental health provider, trauma therapists on that team as well.
And also we have child protective service agencies. We have our local juvenile probation officers, in addition to our local detention centers. And together we all work in a coordinated effort because again, this doesn't happen by accident. We do this to make sure that we're serving every student in our area.
The ESD has access to the most up-to-date research, which is trauma-informed and evidence-based, and that's going to help guide us. I think the other piece of it is that being on this team, it brings all these silos together. And we know that's the issue. The issue is that we all operate in silos, and then here are these kids that get lost in the gaps.
So by providing threat assessment coordinators who can support student threat assessment across our 7 counties, we can break down those silos and make sure that everyone in the school knows who to report to and what to report to.
It's not just one person. It's a team of people looking at all of the circumstances.
We're all using the same process. We're all looking for resources. Everybody wants to help kids.
If a youth moves one school year after another, being tied into the same system, having that common language where we can share, this youth went to this school district, the family moved to a different area of Spokane, and now they're in a different school, just to let those schools know what threats have been made by the youth, and then how that youth did afterwards. By and large, I think once these threat assessment recommendations are made, and most of the recommendations are followed, kids and families can be successful and stay in school, and that's what we think is the most important.
When someone transfers into our building, we don't want to initially make any judgments on them. We want to give them a fresh start. So just having that ability to contact other schools and say, hey, tell us about this. And then looking at the paperwork and it being thorough, and you can see all the steps they took and all the connections, and okay, well, we need to help set this up for that student in our building.
Because threat assessment is about preventing another school tragedy in our region. And so we are able to collect that data and provide that back to the school districts that we work with so that we can show them that threat assessment is working, and it's really important that we're all on the same page and we're working together to prevent school violence.
It also helps us with being able to show our community partners, show our school district partners that threat assessment is not focusing on historically marginalized groups, or special ed students. So that information and data we collect we're able to hone in on that. We know exactly how many females have had a threat assessment, how many males, how many kids of color have had a threat assessment. We know whether or not they have special ed, they have an IEP or a 504 plan. Are we heavy on doing threat assessments with these particular groups? We're able to analyze that as well too with the data that we collect and make adjustments to our practices in the event that that's the case. And so we like to be open and transparent about that.
I know I can get them any time of the day if I need to, and so that's kind of a bonus. Is we know that we've got support 24/7 if we have something that comes up in the middle of the night.
We're talking about safety, so you can't wait. I think ESD, that at least the team we work with, has been great at making sure those meetings happen.
It's not something that has to take 10 days or 30 days. It can be, we swoop in and do this right away, but that's not to do it quickly and poorly. It's because of the system that is set up.
I had a principal tell me how he would go home sometimes at night and couldn't sleep because he felt like he was on an island. He didn't know if he made the right decision or not with that student. He said he felt like it was, I felt like it was a crapshoot every single time. He said, now I no longer feel like that.
Really important for when students go to school that they feel safe and that they can learn, because if you think about when you're fearing for your safety, the odds of you being able to concentrate on algebra and history and geography are very remote. So when we look at it just from an educational perspective, it's very, very important. And when you look at it from a human perspective, it's even more important.
ESD is a huge resource because it takes people from law enforcement in the schools, people from administration, and then all the way down to just campus security officers, and puts us all together. We do a ton of training together, and the training, sometimes it comes from the state, sometimes it comes from the feds. We've done a lot of DEA and Secret Service training over the last year that's just involved in school safety.
It's been great because we have access then to the same resources that the larger counties or the larger districts have. So that has been definitely a benefit over the last few years to realize this resources here. We have not always historically had the same resources as larger communities.
We have therapists that are currently embedded in some of the school districts, especially in the Valley. So there's collaboration that happens.
ESD really takes that and bridges that gap for us, so I'm able to communicate with different schools, not just my own district, but different districts, and puts us all into one group, so we have a lot of cross-leveling throughout all the different districts.
I decided to become a part of this team for a couple of reasons. One, because I value collaboration and partnership. Number two, I'm a parent. I want to be a part of a solution to make sure that all kids can go to school and feel safe. As we're part of this team, my hope is that it's going to have the ripple effect where it's going to encourage other, parts of the community to be partnering more, having conversations, coming to the table, so we can really figure out how to best support these students, these schools, these families, because again, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and we have a lot of work to do.
We have a local expert who can help keep us calibrated so that we're not over-responding or under-responding.
There's no threat assessment team, there's no one out there that can guarantee you that won't happen in the school. None of us can guarantee you that, right? But we can assure you that we will apply this process, like Elise said, that has been vetted by the Secret Service, FBI, and the U.S. Department of Ed. We can guarantee you that we will utilize this process to determine how significant threats are and respond accordingly.
It was pretty eye-opening experience to sit in a room with all those resources and have them ask you questions that you're like, oh, I didn't think of that or this, and it's okay, you don't have to, that's why we're here.
Especially as an elementary principal, I'm the lone man on the island. And so to have a team to be able to look at that through is super helpful.
We know there's different threats that have happened in schools and the public will never be aware of those. And we know how close they actually were to becoming a real tragic incident. And so that's rewarding to me. That motivates me to go to work every day and make sure that we're giving our 110%.
You absolutely have to humble yourself when you're doing this work, or the work will humble you. If you don't, it absolutely will. This is not about no one playing hero or anything like that. This is about team and community and everyone working together toward a common goal.
by providing intervention and prevention strategies and work with their families to get them back on track and get them back in school. That is a huge why for me, because what I don't want to see is another kiddo going on that school to prison pipeline. I really want that kid to be in school and have that same positive experience that I expect from my own kids.
I'm tired of waking up to yet another news feed and news loop of a school shooting that I now know during the course of this work is most often preventable. That's my why, is that I don't want to see that happen again. And I want educators to feel safe going into school and providing education to our students. And I want parents to feel like their kids are safe when they drop them off at school and they come back to pick them up, or when they return home, that kid's going to be in the same condition that they were when they dropped them off. And I take that seriously. Ask if your school has a threat assessment program.
And if your school administrator says, no, we actually don't have student threat assessment, then please reach out to NEWESD 101. Look at our website, contact Leon or I, and we would be happy to come out and train a level 1 team in your school building. And if you're from an agency that is interested in getting involved, that's something that you can check out on our website, and we'd be happy to train your agency as well.